One day, you notice the menu text feels smaller than before. A few years later, driving at night becomes strangely exhausting. Then, without realizing it, you start depending on brighter lights, bigger screens, and glasses you once thought you would never need. It happens so gradually that most people barely notice their vision changing until it already has. For something we rely on every single day, eyesight is surprisingly fragile, constantly affected by light, age, strain, and time itself. But why does this happen in the first place? Why do our eyes slowly lose the sharpness they once had as we grow older? While many people accept worsening vision as a normal part of getting older, very few actually understand what is physically happening inside the eye when that decline begins. Let's break it all down, right here, on History of Simple Things. One of the biggest reasons eyesight worsens with age is because the lens inside the eye gradually becomes harder and less flexible, a condition known as presbyopia. When we are young, the lens easily changes shape to focus on objects both near and far. But over time, the proteins inside the lens become denser, making it harder for the eye to adjust focus quickly. This is why many people begin struggling to read small text in their 40s and suddenly need reading glasses. It is not because the eye muscles completely fail, but because the lens itself loses its flexibility. Scientists consider presbyopia a nearly universal part of aging, meaning almost everyone experiences it eventually. Aging also affects the clarity of the eye itself. Over many years, exposure to sunlight, oxygen, and normal cellular wear slowly changes the proteins inside the lens, causing it to become cloudy. This cloudiness is called a cataract, and it can make vision appear dim, blurry, or yellowish. Colors may lose their brightness, and driving at night can become difficult because lights begin to scatter more inside the eye. Cataracts are extremely common in older adults, but they usually develop gradually, which is why many people do not notice the change immediately. The world does not suddenly blur overnight. Instead, it fades little by little, making many people think the problem is simply getting old, rather than an actual physical change happening inside the eye. The retina also changes with age, and that can seriously affect vision quality. The retina is the thin layer of tissue at the back of the eye, responsible for converting light into signals the brain can understand. Over time, retinal cells become less efficient, especially in an area called the macula, which controls sharp central vision. This is why older adults may struggle more with reading, recognizing faces, or seeing fine detail. Some people develop age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, which damages central vision even further. Aging can also reduce how quickly the eyes adjust between darkness and bright light, which explains why older people often find nighttime driving stressful. Another overlooked reason eyesight worsens is that our eyes produce fewer tears as we age. Tears are not just water, they form a protective layer that keeps the eye smooth, nourished, and clear. As tear production decreases, the eyes become dry, irritated, and more sensitive to light. Dry eyes can also cause fluctuating blurry vision because the surface of the eye is no longer evenly lubricated. Many older adults describe this sensation as having a thin film over their eyes or feeling like something is constantly irritating them. Environmental factors like air conditioning, pollution, smoke, and long hours staring at screens can make the problem worse. The muscles and nerves connected to vision also weaken with time. the tiny muscles controlling focus and pupil size gradually lose efficiency, meaning the eyes react more slowly to changing light conditions. This is one reason older adults often need brighter lighting to read comfortably. Meanwhile, the optic nerve, which carries visual information from the eye to the brain, can become more vulnerable to damage from conditions like glaucoma. Unlike blurry vision from needing glasses, glaucoma damages vision more silently by affecting peripheral sight first. Many people do not notice it until significant damage has already occurred. Aging itself does not guarantee blindness, but it increases the risk of diseases that can permanently damage vision if left untreated. Lifestyle choices can speed up many of these age-related changes. Smoking increases the risk of cataracts and macular degeneration because it exposes eye tissues to oxidative stress. Poorly managed diabetes can damage the blood vessels inside the retina, leading to diabetic retinopathy. Long-term ultraviolet exposure from sunlight may also contribute to lens and retinal damage over time. Even diet matters more than many people realize. Nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, lutein, zinc, and vitamin C and E are linked to better long-term eye health. Aging may be unavoidable, but the speed and severity of vision decline can still be influenced by how people care for their bodies throughout life. In many ways, worsening eyesight is a reminder that the body is constantly changing, even in places we rarely think about. The eyes spend decades exposed to light, strain, movement, and environmental damage, all while performing one of the most demanding tasks in the human body every waking second. It is the result of countless small changes building over time. But aging eyes do not necessarily mean losing independence or clarity forever. The important thing is understanding that eyesight does not worsen because the body is failing completely. It worsens because the body, like everything else in life, carries the marks of time. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.